Okay. Meeting is called to order at 7:04. It looks like we have Mr. Adrian Manning and Jeff Silversmith as well. Not on here. POCD. Okay. Let me just get over to our agenda. All members are present for the board and hear from public. Mr. Would you like to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. I know you're very busy, so I'll try to be quick. I'm a doctoral student at the University of Edinburgh, but I used to live in Vernon, Connecticut several years ago. While I was there, I helped Manchester police recover a stolen monument to George Washington in Israel, Putnam. The original location of where it was stolen wasn't originally known, but I collaborated with the state archaeologist, Dr. Brian Jones, and we determined that it came from Thomas Knowlton's property, just above.
Which Thomas Knowlton property?
The one who served in the Revolutionary War, Colonel Thomas Knowlton of Knowlton's Rangers.
No, I wasn't asking which man. Are you talking about the property that is now part of the Boy Scout camp or the Scout camp, June Norcross Scout Camp?
I'm not exactly sure. It is just north of Knowlton Pond and in between Wormwood Hill Road and Knowlton Hill Road. And in between those two roads is Giant Oak Road. And I believe there is a gas station there. And before the gas station was there, when it was being constructed, that's when the marker was stolen.
What kind of a marker are you talking about?
Now, if you will allow me to share the screen, I will show you a picture.
All right. And what I'd like you to do afterwards, if you wouldn't mind, is to send us something in writing.
Okay.
Because you're talking a little faster than some of us can take in.
Okay. Give me just 1 second to pull it up. But yes, so ultimately, I would like to.
We don't see it yet. We don't see it yet.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I'm sorry. I had it pulled up and I don't know what happened to it. But Dr. Brian Jones did determine that the marker was legitimate and authentic. Unfortunately, he passed a few years ago. And so I am the only living researcher with firsthand knowledge of the marker.
Okay, so you said the marker was stolen.
Yes.
And so what are you looking for?
I am looking to get some sort of new like a wooden marker, something saying that there was a meeting between Washington and Knowlton. Here's a picture of the marker. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
That was taken in the police evidence locker. So it's a long story, but police.
You're saying the police have it.
They did have it. And this was all when I was an undergrad. And so I really didn't know what I was doing. And he petitioned the courts to have it returned because no one really knew what to do with it.
And I was going to say, return to whom?
The man whose father stole it from the side of the road. I believe it was the 60s. Whenever the gas station was put in on Route 44.
Okay, so bear with me. So what are you looking to have us do?
Maybe create some, and I can take charge of this and raise the funds, whatever. But maybe create just like a little wooden placard that said Washington met with Putnam on Knowlton's property. Knowlton was, head of the first espionage ring or the first, spy ring, if you would call it that, in America, the first secret agents kind of. And so there was some sort of clandestine nature to this meeting. And I don't want this piece of history to be lost. And so I didn't know if that would be something you guys would be interested in pursuing. I'm aiming for the 250th anniversary coming up in a couple of years. And I just didn't know, I've never done anything like this before. My dissertation is concerning Putnam, but the marker is very, very secondary to my main argument. And I just think it's a really cool piece of history, and maybe we can just put something up somewhere and just say this happened.
Selectmen, fellow selectmen, do you mind if I ask some questions? Normally we just listen. I was just trying to get to where you were going.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sorry.
Selectmen, would you mind if can we add this to the agenda and ask some more questions about it?
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, and I'd like to go into it right now so that we ease this up for you. So would you be putting together a written proposal to us?
Absolutely, whatever you would like.
Okay, I think that might be a good idea. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that we actually have a small committee who is working on our 250th anniversary of the United States for events that are going to occur all that year, 2026. And one of them is about Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Knowlton.
Okay.
We have rich material on him from multiple sources that it might be a good idea to hook you up with.
Yes, please.
Including they have quite a bit of material over at the scout camp, the June Norcross Scout Camp. Plus, we have someone who wrote up something about more than one person who's written up things about Lieutenant Colonel Knowlton and his Raiders. I think it was Raiders.
Yes, Knowlton's Rangers.
We're particularly proud of them. And so you might be able to, in your historical research, you might be able to connect with some pretty good people
Awesome.
to work with. Fellow selectmen, how do you feel about this?
No, fine. It definitely involves the historical committee.
Oh, I think it's very interesting. I certainly think it's worthwhile to pursue and assist this gentleman. I appreciate. Adrian, where do you reside now?
I currently live in Colorado. My wife is active duty. So we were stationed in Vernon, and she was working at Pratt and Whitney, and then we got stationed out here. But I'm from Massachusetts and she's from Maine originally.
So you're gonna do this from afar.
Yes, but I'll be traveling to New England frequently in the next year. I have a lot of work to do on my dissertation at various archives in New England, and Connecticut Historical Society and state archives are all in there. So I'll be in and out. It won't be as remote as completely remote.
Oh, that's too bad, because we were looking for a trip to Colorado.
Oh, come on out. Come on out. I'll show you around.
Right. So what I'd like to do is you need to draft a proposal. If you would like to meet with me to talk about what the town is doing during 2026 around all of this, we just started planning around that. So you're more than welcome. I can set up a meeting with you or whatever to kind of share that with you. So you at least have some background information to work with and some connections.
Oh, that is very kind. Thank you very, very much.
Is that okay with you, Selectman?
Yeah, absolutely.
It sure is. Adrian, are you aware that we have a hall in town named Knowlton Hall that was donated by the Knowlton family to the town way back when?
I am actually not familiar. That's really
You have so much to learn.
I really do. This kind of all fell into my lap. I found the marker when I was viewing homes to buy, and the man had it in his garden, and I just started asking about it, and he told me how his dad stole it. So it really did just fall into my lap, and that was the first I had heard of Knowlton and Putnam, and so it's been a really fun ride. I've loved learning about them, and I'm really, really excited.
Does that gentleman still have physical possession of the sign or whatever we call that, the monument?
Of our stolen monument?
Yeah, the last I heard, the gentleman who had it in his garden originally, it was returned to him by the Manchester police. So in the whole process of getting this going, I'll try to reach out to police, see what information I can get, because I heard that information through the American Gravestone Society,
Very
because
good.
someone else had heard about it, and so they had given me that information. And with the unfortunate passing of Dr. Jones, there's a lot I've been trying to just fill in pieces. So, but yes,
Well,
I believe the man has it now.
we very much appreciate your efforts. I couldn't make out from what you showed us of the monument itself. Is there lettering in that can be discerned from it, or?
Yes, all it says is meeting place of Washington and Putnam.
And
Interesting.
it doesn't say Ashford.
No, but when the police got involved, they arrested the man, and then Dr. Jones got involved, and then he gave me all the information of where it was taken.
Okay, so he had like coordinates of some kind?
Yes, let me share my screen again. So this was actually one of the, sorry that's not tilted the right way, but right over here at the 94 is where it was found.
Okay,
And,
we can't see it yet.
oh, you can't see it?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we're looking
Yep.
at it sideways, but we're doing it.
Yeah, sorry about that. But right here, this is north over here, so I'm sorry that's not oriented correctly. But the marker was found right here, and this is Route 44. And then
Okay.
Knowlton Pond is down here. And this is
Okay.
Knowlton Hill Road and Worm Hill Road, or whatever it was called. And then the actual, I'll try to zoom in. And again, oriented differently. But these were all given to me by Dr. Jones before he passed.
Mhm.
And then this was all the information I had. And then, just going into, land details and stuff like that, finding out that it was Thomas Knowlton.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then knowing that Knowlton's Rangers and all that, there was some sort of clandestine meeting, I believe, right after Bunker Hill and before Putnam got to New York. But it's still undetermined exactly when they met and the nature of the meeting, which is unfortunate. But I'm hoping if we bring it public, something will come up. So,
You have some
Adrian,
serious
I-
history.
I don't know if there's another bit of news on the corner of Route 44 and 89. There's a home there called the Old Prescott Home,
let me
which
write
it's been documented that Washington stayed there for 1 or 2 nights.
Okay. I need to look that up.
Why did we?
That home happens to be for
Huh?
sale
Why did
right
we
now,
do-
but
he didn't want us to.
Oh, dear. So you said Route 44 and 89?
correct.
Okay, excellent. I will look on that presently.
It's on the northwest corner of that intersection.
Perfect.
Beautiful old home, and it's well documented, and they have a lot of history of that at the Knowlton Hall. We have a library there called the Babcock Library that's documented that stay and everything.
Very good.
Awesome.
What would be great is if you put your proposal together,
Okay.
then maybe what we'll do is a special selectmen's meeting. It's a little bit of a working session.
Okay.
And then we can share more information with you based upon what you're putting in your proposal.
Okay.
Prior to that, I'll be glad to work with you to give you contacts here so you can talk with them,
Awesome.
kind of get your bearings.
Yes, indeed. I've always felt a little bit over my head with this, but I felt like it was my duty not to let it go. So
Well,
I'm very excited. Thank you so much for being willing to work with me, and this is going to be a great collaboration.
we appreciate getting any more history than as much history as we can documented about our town and some of the remarkable people in it.
Oh, no problem at all. Well, that was all that I had. I will get you the proposal. I will also be sending along. It was an amateur paper that I did while I was an undergrad.
Okay.
But what I had researched and the dates that I had narrowed down that I thought Washington and Putnam could have met. So I'll get you all my research as well.
Very good. Very
Awesome.
good. Make sure to send all your contact info.
I will indeed. And
You-
is your emails are just on the website?
Yeah, you can send, if you want, send it to First Selectmen,
Okay.
FIRST SELECTMAN
MAM.
at Ashford Town Hall, that's one word,
Okay.
.org.
.gov. Org. Okay.
Okay,
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all have a great week, and I look forward to speaking with you.
very good.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Good night.
Okay, well, that was a nice surprise.
That was a nice break.
Catherine, it was a little hard seeing that map that he had, but
I'll send out everything.
Roger may have a better idea, but the
Yep.
only old gas station that I recall hearing about in that area was on the old wagon shed property.
No, there was a just this side of that air of the Ashford Oak. I remember years and years ago there was something
Okay.
resembled an old gas station right there. So it was
Just west of Ashford Oak.
just east of this side, east. Yeah, that little
Oh.
flat area before you go up the.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So that was, we kind of went from persons to be heard right into that. I see Jeff Silversmith's on. Jeff, did you have any persons to be heard? That you wanted to talk about? Or are you here about the POCD?
I was just here to answer any questions should they have come up regarding the issue for the POCD. Thank you.
Issue for the what?
POCD.
The POCD, if there are any issues or questions about that request.
Okay. Okay, we don't even have POCD on the agenda, do we? Here are the possibilities. There we go. What have I got? Oh, well, we weren't doing that yet. All right, so
If you need me to add it under persons to be heard or committees, I can do that. That's fine.
no, just trying to figure out the best place for you to talk. And I just put aside my agenda, so I'm a little
I
off.
didn't notice it on our agenda anywhere, but I'd be glad if
Let's add it to the
we have a
agenda.
need to talk about it. I'll move that we add discussion with the POC regarding the POCD to the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, so that's a motion to add it.
I'll second.
We got a second. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. So I could tell at this point, I don't know if you want to ask questions, Jeff, or I can tell you that we have received the original components of the POCD that you sent to us. And I know Chris has been working with one. I've gone through it. I've highlighted what I think ought to be changed. We are one of the questions we have, I have for you is there are in our section, and I forget what that's called,
Governance?
governance. Where'd you go?
Right here.
The house looks familiar. The room looks somewhat familiar. Okay, so under governance, there are a number of charts in there with different kinds of statistics. And if I recall, the last time the POCD was updated, we had NECOG was involved in updating it and probably pulled in that information. Is that correct?
Yes, they did.
All right, so you have, you're working with Mike D'Amato's company, right? On
Thank you.
updating
Yes.
the POCD. Is it possible for them to get those kinds of numbers? We don't have necessarily the full access to the information that, bear with me, that NECOG had.
Are you saying you as the selectman's office?
Yeah.
As opposed, okay. No, Mike has access to various different types of data. We can also reach out to NECOG if we're looking to update those specific charts or if we want to make changes to those charts and have
Alright.
different information in there. But Mike does have access to a number of different formats and sets of data that we can
Alright.
gather.
So what we're trying to do on this end, fellow selectmen, is we've taken we've got the originals. Thank you very much. Jeff, they're even in Word format.
Right, editable
So they're
format,
actually
correct.
editable. And what
Yes.
we'd like to do is provide to the selectmen the original that we received, plus any updates that we're already working on to go into there. We just need to get those charts as well. And then put it in front of the selectmen for their approval or modification, and then pass it back to your board, Jeff, your commission.
When it comes to thank you very much for that, and thank you for moving this forward. When it comes to the charts and such, again, we are working with Tyche. Our subcommittee has not come together yet. We'll be coming together in September.
Okay.
We are still gathering. You aren't the only ones out there that we haven't gotten information from. We have about half of the different sections, information back from Conservation Commission, Ag Commission, EDC is promised. I'm still waiting for that. We've gotten OTOF's information back to us, input from them, and are still waiting on housing, education, and obviously governance and public safety. So when it comes to the charts, again, if you want to make suggestions to us in the interim of something you would suggest different for those charts, please let us know, because we'll start to gather that information to hit the ground running. So we
All
have
right.
that data.
All
or
right,
at
we'll
least
take a
start
look
to
at it.
gain that
We'll
data.
take a look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
We also have samples of the charts that are already there.
Right, exactly. And if you
It's
like
just a
those
matter
charts
of
and you want to keep,
getting the
Right.
information updated to be current in terms of
Right,
the
if you-
figures that are in them.
if you like those charts and you want just have that information updated, that's not a problem. We can do that. If there's, again, different data you feel would benefit the POCD, and you can ask for that in, even if it's kind of pie in the sky, you're asking for some type of format or some type of information, we can try and put something together. We can start from scratch on those things too.
All right. So, fellow selectmen, we'd already started some work on this because we did receive the request. And it's actually, we took it off a back burner to start working on it because we knew that your group, Jeff, was going to come together sometime in September.
I also know you have roofs and all kinds of stuff that you're working with, and solar and everything else. So I appreciate your
Okay.
efforts.
Well,
I
thank you.
appreciate your efforts.
Gee, I don't know how you know that, but okay.
Just a hunch.
All right. Was there anything else about POCD, gentlemen?
No, I wasn't aware we received it, but I'll be looking forward to taking a look at the original and giving you any input from there.
Exactly.
Also, I know Luther's a big fan, and he's on the subcommittee, Luther Brough. If you like using tracking changes, since it's in a Word format, please feel free so we can see what the original was and what the change was next to it. If you don't want to deal with that, because I find it to be somewhat cumbersome and it's my feeble mind dealing with it, don't worry about it. Just make your changes, your edits, however, free format, however you want to deal with it.
What we could do is wherever we're making a change, we could just highlight it in yellow.
If
To
you
me, it's an
indicate it,
easier
that's
way to
so.
find it.
Right, exactly. And just to let the board know itself, in signing with Tyche, they put together a scope of work for us, and it involved 6 basic areas: identification of project approach and vision, baseline review, a stakeholders outreach and community survey, public meetings, presentations, mapping, as well as draft plan review and final document layout. So those are the 6 areas that they have in their scope of work and working with us. And I think they'll be very beneficial and very helpful.
Could you send that
considering
list to us? Could you send that list?
I think I did previously to you, but I'll send it to the selectman's office again.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Super. Thanks.
Jeff, could you just refresh our memories on what the protocol will be once we get the final draft done, or you do?
The POCD will have again, we're going to have public meetings and presentations. We will try and roll it out. We're talking about the possibility of having, for lack of a better term, a hearing on it, which again is not so much actionable as it is gaining input once we have a document put together. Once a document is put together, the selectman's office would need to sign off on it, and we submit to the OPM.
So it does not go to town meeting or that sort of thing?
No, it does not go to a town meeting, but we do want to gain public input, public consensus on it. We want people to be as happy as we can bring all groups together on this. And obviously there are certain areas in it that remain divisive, but we hope to come to some common resolution that allows for this to move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Jim, I see that you're on here too. Did you want to speak under persons to be heard?
Nope, I'm just here for you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Okay. So let me take us back to our agenda. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, first selectmen's briefing. So let me take you into that. I do have some stuff written up. Bill, I'm sorry, you are, what I did was I did a transfer station update. Actually, Ashford Transfer Station News. It's going to be a full page in the Ashford Citizen. We've had a lot of questions of this next Ashford Citizen. I have a printed copy here for you. And what it goes through is our clean cardboard recycling program. There's been a lot of questions about it. And also because I think I might have mentioned that we had some contaminated single stream loads that I would like the public to be aware of and to encourage them to put the right things in the right bins. So I'm just letting you know that we do have something that's going out, and I'll be working on, I'm working a little bit with Chris here. She just gave me an electronic copy of what our original transfer station pamphlet is or whatever, the electronic version. So maybe I could work with it a little bit to see if we can get it updated to reflect some of this stuff, some of these items. So, and again, this is to make it very clear to the public what the recyclable cardboard program is, what is recyclable, what is not, and reduce the confusion about it. And people have asked all different kinds of questions about, is this recyclable? Is that? I will tell you that in order to come up with a recyclable list, I went out to Casella, and I had their process. What they've got is something where you can put in an item name and it will tell you if it's recyclable. So it's not like you have a list that's specific, all these specifics about what is recyclable cardboard. I kind of had to hunt and pick for it. And then what I did was I confirmed it with the Casella rep to make sure I was putting out the right information. I did that back in July in the Citizen. So this is reiterating that, and it's also adding to some of the lists. So just letting you know.
Can you leave a copy of that draft in our box?
Already got it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bear with me. Just want to go back to my write up. Okay. Chris and I worked on when to have the public hearing, special town meeting that we agreed on at the last meeting pertaining to the ordinance change that's been requested by the Ag Commission. So the date we have is Wednesday, October 7th. Have I got it wrong? Monday, October 2nd. No.
7th.
It's Monday the 7th? Just checking. When I looked at it. Oh, yeah, it's Monday the 7th. I just got screwed up on the Wednesday. So it's Monday, October 7th. We
So
also,
that will be a public hearing adjourned to a town meeting vote on that?
yes,
Thank you.
The other thing that we talked about putting on there was going over the open items on the ARPA list.
yes. And we feel we'll be ready for that because it's October. So I don't know if you heard that, Bill, but the other thing that we'd like to have put on that.
I heard it.
Okay, good. Do you have any issues with that, guys?
I'm not gonna be in town, but
Okay. How about you, Bill?
Lord willing, I expect to be around.
Okay, good, because we need to have, for all of our ARPA monies, we have to have everything designated by the end of the year. Then everything has to be spent by the end of next year. So, we'll go through, what's been spent, what we still got remaining, and amounts and all of that, and then, probably have some recommendations about which things we might want to change or add to. Okay. So, I'll give you an update on Public Works. Public Works, their key activities have been ground maintenance, daily roadside mowing, they can barely keep up, grading of Bevington Lane and chip seal sweeping on Upton, Wormwood Hill, Varga, Cushman, and Knowlton roads. And they've done, there's some serious issues on Oaks Road. So they've done some low-level clearing and rut repair. But we're bringing in an engineer to determine the larger improvements needed. Water's just not going where it's supposed to go. And it's carrying the silt with it. Okay. All right, I think the other things, we also have the, bear with me, the bids for the,
That's on the agenda.
oh, it's on the agenda?
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, I think everything else is on the agenda. I'm pretty sure.
Catherine, just one thing, you had mentioned roadside mowing.
Yes.
I don't know if you've had any discussions with state DOT, but the previous 2 years, I complained to both the Putnam garage and the Willington garage about the lateness in our roadside mowing here in town. And I noticed things have not improved. I know last year and the year before, we had to go out and clear some intersections because of sight lines.
Yeah.
I happened to go by today. North Road was a very serious one. Somebody has done that already. I don't know if our crew did that or whatever, but I know we had to do it. Woodward Cemetery last year, we had to actually ask the state for permission, and we went and cleared because we had a couple of near misses
Yeah.
because of sight lines.
Yes.
If you have a chance to whisper in their ear or even louder, I don't know why we're last on their list, but it seems that way. I mean, doing the roadside mowing in September and October for us is too late.
Very good.
We've got some road signs that you can't even read.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm talking about state roads, obviously.
Yeah. The will be the mouse that roared. How's that?
Sounds right.
Good. I do have a baseball bat in here. Maybe that would help. Okay. The going to our agenda at this point. All right. Ashford School Replacement Project status. Sorry?
minutes.
Oh, minutes. I'm sorry. Accept the minutes of the meeting of August 5th, 2024.
I will move the minutes, but I've got a couple of comments.
Sure. We do a second?
No, second.
Okay. Comments?
The first minutes that I received that had the stamp from the town clerk on the 13th at noon were the printout that I got were not complete. And it stopped at Selectmen's briefing. Excuse me.
Let me just check something real quick, Bill.
And the last copy that I got, I believe Chris had emailed,
Yeah.
they were corrected, but my comment is, has the corrected ones been resubmitted to the town clerk?
I believe so. It says 8:13, 12 PM. And they are posted on the town website.
All right, but read down,
Yeah.
I believe at item 4, as it's shown.
Acceptance of minutes of regular meetings of 7:25.
Yeah. You see
And
there, keep reading.
then we've got here from boards, commissions, committees, then we've got old business, all the
But
things.
there's no actions taken. Those are minutes.
Oh. Okay, we'll
But
double check those and make sure that
the
they're.
last ones that she sent, which I copied off, are the corrected ones, but they're not stamped.
Very good. We'll
They're
do,
not stamped because I send them out. I email them to the town clerk.
right, they're not out on the town.
File.
We just know they're not out on the town website yet. Okay, so we'll do a follow-up and make sure that,
I can see which one she's got. I'm sure it was just a
yeah,
clerical error.
yep.
Other than that, I'm fine with the minutes.
Okay. All right. So again, I'll find out what's the timestamp you have?
I have 8:13 at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what's out on the town website. So I think the repaired version is not out there yet. So we'll do a double check on that and make sure it gets out there. Oh, also, if you wouldn't mind, I do have one more thing from the selectmen's briefing. The Ashford Citizen, the printer had not been sending us back the PDF version, which is what gets put out onto the town website. And we only received, I think, January and February. So I did a follow-up and he has now sent all of the rest of them. And Karen Zulik is in the process of getting them up on the website so people can see them out there.
Good. We had an ongoing issue with him for a long time with that.
Yeah, well, I called him and left a voicemail and then called him back when I didn't get an answer back. And he told me he'd already sent them. He was very sorry that happened. And he was going to be more diligent in the future because it's supposed to come back with the invoice. You know, and he's supposed to send it back as soon as he's got them all together. So I'll be monitoring to make sure that he's doing that. As it is, we now have them up to date, except, you know, we are now producing the Citizen for September. So easy enough to follow at this point. Okay, let me get out of these old minutes. Go back to our agenda. Ashford's, are we ready? Ashford's here from boards, commissions, committees. I don't have anything. Okay. The old business, Ashford School Replacement Project. Let me give you this. And this is going out into the Citizen as well. Although frequent rainstorms slowed some of our construction over the last 4 weeks, the roof should be about 90%, maybe more than that, complete in time for the start of school the last week of August. Flashing and trim will be remaining. They'll be completed in early to mid-September, and installation of the skylight will be installed in October as planned. Their problem has been truly the rain, even today. They've had very few days without rain, to be quite candid. So I know they've worked on weekends and they're going as fast as they can. There are no complaints from the school. Jim and he sat in on meetings about this. And also Cindy has no issues with them doing whatever the remaining work is, the flashing and trim, etc. after school starts, they'll work around the kids' schedules, the school schedules.
Catherine, I know you're meeting, what, every other week now?
No, we're meeting every week now because we're coming down to the wire.
Are there minutes to those meetings?
Yes, there are.
Are they filed with the town clerk?
No, they don't get filed with the town clerk. We have them in the project site.
Okay,
Because we are keeping all information together on the project site just to make sure that we all know what everything is. And
And-
the school has everything that they need for doing their submissions.
okay, good. So if I want to see them, they're kept on
I'll
site?
be glad to send you the meeting minutes. Not a problem.
If you have them, I'd like to just take a perusal. Also,
Sure.
Catherine, I know you guys have been very busy and short
Thank
of
you
help
for-
down there for a
Thank you
while,
for
but,
appreciating that.
I've asked a couple of times for a copy of that, the big change order with the justification.
Okay. So yes, thank you for the reminder.
No
Yes.
big deal.
Okay.
I feel for you.
Thank you. It is, it's been a bit challenging, but people are moving it along. So I'm not too concerned. We haven't had any other change orders.
Catherine, if there's work going to be going on during the school being in session,
Yeah,
do we need any extra type of insurance rider or anything for that?
I don't believe so. We can check.
Students are outside. If the students are on, in the area.
Yeah, the insurance covers
Insurance.
until they're done. So, and it has, liability, those kinds of things. So, one thing I did I did ask was, is there any danger of something falling off the roof? Because they'll have everything basically picked up. They're going to be doing, have everything up on the roof. And there was not very much concern about that. And that they would be working around what the school schedule is in terms of the kids and the staff. Okay, so we'll check on additional insurance rider if it's needed. Okay. And our next item is discuss or act on Ashford School roof options, power purchase agreement versus municipal ownership. All right, let's go to what I have here. Let's see if I can put it up on. This is a high level. I think Chris has been involved in some conversations as well. Had a long conversation with our solar guy. She and Chris and I have met with Alan, I forgot his last name, from town council, who is the solar guy there. He hasn't worked much with power purchase agreements. I'm sorry, purchase agreements. I don't think he's worked with any, correct?
I don't think so.
None. But what he has worked is with over the last 10 years is PPAs. And at one point in time, we were talking, I think we were talking here about having, potentially having our solar consultant at MHR do the design for the solar on the roof. So our town council said, not a good idea. Especially, he said, he's never seen it done with a PPA. And it kind of doesn't make sense. So we, in a sense, I've abandoned that idea. And what we did do, though, is we talked about the rest of this and what can be done. And I confirmed it with him today that,
Catherine?
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I had to go out and come back in, so
Oh, all
your
right.
start of the discussion about this subject, I missed the beginning.
Okay, so give me a second while I bring it back. Okay, so I've worked with, Chris and I worked with town council. What's Alan's last name?
Curto. Curt, Curto.
Curto, Alan Curto from our attorney's firm. And he said he has never worked with a purchase agreement. He's been doing these PPAs for about 10 years. I feels he's pretty adept at that. So we went through aspects of what the pros and cons were for purchase agreement. Chris and I had worked on that. And also, we don't want it doesn't make sense to have our MHR consultant, Mark Robbins, do a design for a PPA. So I don't know if you heard, Bill, but what our attorney said was that he's never seen one where somebody else did the design for the PPA beyond the people that would be the owners of the PPA, okay, of the system. So that kind of made sense. And so that idea was abandoned. And instead, what is being considered, and I've already given some instructions on it just to keep it moving, is on the PPA work is for Mark to update, really refresh the contract agreement that we had that was signed last August 15th, 2023, that said, okay, here's our timeline and here's what's going to be done, and this is how much it is for each piece. And all that was all well and fine, except that everything was delayed. It was delayed. I think we had a slow start, and I think that even with our architect, there were some delays in terms of the solar folks being able to even find out what the load capacity was for the roofs, I should say. So going through all of that, I asked about having Mark update that agreement to include the drafting a PPA to go with the RFP, a PPA agreement to go with the RFP. Now, one thing our town council said is apparently our attorneys had not looked at the agreement that was originally signed because he wasn't happy with the agreement. So if MHR, and they've agreed that they would do this, updates that agreement, it's going to go through town council to make sure that we have the guarantees in there, the kinds of things that will protect our town. That's one. The other thing is, again, having the PPA agreement drafted by our solar consultant, because he's been responding to different things. We've asked about different kinds of things that we feel should be in that agreement, which include the purchase, after 5 or 6 years, that kind of thing. And some other things, bear with me. I'm just going to pull them up. Project specific PPA to address or safeguard against concerns about maintenance obligations, energy production, and cost savings reliance, stipulate future purchase options, and provide energy kiosk for educational purposes, etc. The kinds of things that we've asked about, and we want to make sure are in there. And he was fine with that. The attorney was fine with that. And then that PPA, along with the RFP, would be reviewed, modified, approved by our town council, and the PPA, and also the RFP has to be approved anyway
By the building committee.
Oh, by the I'm sorry, building committee, but also ultimately by, Kerma. After that, and the PPA having been approved by our PPA agreement, at least a draft version of it, being approved by, our town council, to be attached to the RFP, and that way it will narrow the people that respond, the respondents. It'll be a shorter list in all likelihood, because we'll have some specifics in there that we really want to have. But it will give them a good sense of what it is we really need to have included in whatever agreement we finally end up, whatever the contract is we finally end up with. So, Bill, did that make sense?
Well, it makes sense to a point of what you just said, but I
Right.
don't, the impression I had was that our board has the final say on how we want to pursue this. And that the two questions involved were, one, owning the system, or a PPA. And I
All right, so-
didn't get the impression that we had decided on that through a vote of our board yet.
No, and what I want to do is I want to show you the pros and cons at a high level, okay? I just need to do, between owning and the PPA. See, you have to realize he's already done work on the RFP. So, I want to show you what it's like if we start over with a purchase. Give me a second. Get to here and to share my screen. That's not it. Zoom. Goodness. All right, well, I'm sitting in the Zoom. Give us a sec. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I don't know why I'm having trouble pulling this up. Just please give me a, there we go. Now to share the screen. And it's going to be which one? It's going to be this one. Share. Oops. Can you see this screen? Bill? Anybody? Hello? Bill, you're on mute. Jeff, can you see the screen?
Yes,
I can see it.
You can?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm here.
All right, thanks. All right, so, and bear with me if I got some spelling wrong here. All right, going through this at a high level. Pros and cons.
All I've got is a black screen, Catherine.
Everybody else can see the screen? No?
I do.
Yeah, yes, I can see it.
Bill, I'm not sure why you can't see it.
I'm not either.
Okay. Um. You want to go out and come back in?
I'll try that.
Okay. For you.
Hello?
Okay, can you see the screen?
No, I'm getting black.
That's simplifying. Bill, I don't know what to tell you. The other people can see it.
Let me go out
Can
again
you
and try to come back.
Can you email it to him?
Sure. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I'm sending it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm getting that same screen.
Okay. So what I'm doing is sending this file to you. All right. Tell me when it gets there. Let me know if you can see it, okay? Bill, have you received it yet?
Yeah, I can see some. It's minuscule in size, but I've got a white screen now where I was getting a black screen. All right. We keep going in and out.
Are
I'm
you-
the only one having this problem.
Yeah, Bill, I did email it to you, the document to you right now, or a few minutes ago. Do you want to check your emails and see if it came through? And are you looking on your computer or screen, or are you looking on your phone for it?
Right now, I'm doing both.
Okay.
It's titled Solar Questions.
I'm sorry? No,
It's titled
it says,
Solar
it
Questions.
says, solar, what is this? Solar options. And it was sent at 8:03. Bill, you still there? Bill?
Cruise down through. That's Selectmen and updated. This me as Republican.
I missed that.
Hello.
Hi, you still there? It looks like you have dropped off.
My computer's been going in and out, and my phone is screwed up now. What I had asked is, let me see, I'm trying again. What I'd ask if you could move on to the next items on the agenda. I'm gonna try to get my phone recharged here,
Okay,
and when I get your email, then I'll forward it to my personal email and try to copy a copy of it off so I can read it.
okay.
See if I can get back in though, because I was coming in and it looked like everything was fine.
Yep.
And then it
This meeting is being recorded.
kept signing off.
All right.
All right, hold on.
This meeting is being recorded.
Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna get off the phone so I can hear you in the meeting.
Okay,
All right, we can hear you in the meeting.
okay.
And bear with me because I just misplaced the agenda. Here it is. Okay. So let's see, you want us to move on to something beyond that? Right? Bill, you're on mute. Okay, we're gonna move on to finalize item 7C, finalize town building use fee schedule and Ashford Food Bank donation policy. I have not finished documenting that, so that will have to be for our next meeting. The fire station 20 roof update. I'm totally excited to say that the new roof is on and the solar is being put on there starting on Thursday. So hopefully we won't have rain and they can get that done. Everybody's been working very nicely with each other. Okay. Can you still hear us, Bill?
I hear you.
Okay,
I don't know why I keep muting out, but I hear you.
all right. Give me a second here to get to the next thing. Since I'm bouncing around a little bit. Chris, you gave me the bid information. All right, on the buses, act on awarding of bids received for 2013 and 2015 International Bluebird School buses. All right, so we had two bids on the 2013 bus and 3 bids on the 2015 bus. So the high bid for the 2015 bus was $657.50. We had the on the 2013 bus, it was also $657.50. It was rather bizarre, same person. And then we had, let's just see, for the 2013 bus, bear with me, I gotta make sure I have the right one here. I'm sorry, 2015 bus. Again, we had 3 bids, 657.50, 500, and 333. Then for the 2013 bus, it was 657.50 and 634. Now, the selectmen have the discretion to award these bids to whoever you choose, regardless of how much was bid. And I realize we're looking to make every dime we can make on these. But what would happen in this situation is the same person would be awarded both buses.
Just out of curiosity, I mean.
I can give you the names if you wish.
Or do we know if they're Ashford residents?
Ashford residents? Yes, they're Ashford residents.
Both of them?
Or all three?
all three people that
All
bid.
three?
Yeah. So we do have someone who we know has been waiting for this bus, one of the buses, for 6 months. And actively pursuing, trying to make sure that we get it out there to get sold. He did not have the highest bid, but it is one of the, it's one of the 2015 bids. You know, my first reaction was not to feel, I'm not comfortable with giving both buses to the same person. And weird numbers, literally very weird numbers. In fact, I'm still trying to figure out why they're that weird. And Bill, are you writing them down? How are you dealing with this?
I'm listening to you.
Okay. I'd like to suggest, and you gentlemen are going to decide whatever you think is best, that we award the 2000, where is it here? The 2013 bus to the person who was the high bidder, and we award the, I'm sorry, and we award the 2015 bus to, not to the person who was the high bidder, because it's the same person as the other bus, but to the next person down the line. The next bidder lower than him.
And the reason for that, Catherine, you're not comfortable in awarding both buses?
Well,
to the
one, I
high bidder?
wasn't, right up front, I wasn't, and I thought the numbers were kind of strange. And it looked awfully very close, 257.50 compared to another guy that's 634. Just really bizarre numbers. I've never seen them come in like that. I don't know.
237.50 compared to what, 6?
Usually come in strangely.
They do come in strange? Okay. So I can tell you, I don't know if it will make a difference. I can tell you who these people are.
237.50. What was the high bid?
257.50.
257.50. And the high bid was what?
That's it, 657.50.
I just wonder if the guy was trying to hedge his bets.
Sorry? You think he's gonna resell them?
I don't know. I just wonder if somebody was hedging their bets, had a buddy sending low bids and he's sending high bids.
That was
just
what
in
I
case there
kind of
was
looked at.
No, I don't think they're
Okay.
connected.
Hopefully
Okay.
they wouldn't do something like that.
Yeah. I just hope not.
So, in terms, you want the names?
No, I don't really need the names. I mean, my tendency is to award them to the high bidder on both buses, even if it is the same person.
Your thoughts?
Well,
I happen to know that the bidder for the other bidder for the 2000, the second bidder for the 2015 bus is someone who has been pursuing this for over 6 months.
And that's the low bidder.
No, it's the second, you've got 250, 657.50, 500 and 333. So you got 3 bidders for the 2015 bus. You have 2 bidders for the 2013 bus. The top one is 657.50, and the second one is 634. I put 2015 is highlighted in yellow.
Correct. So
I got it right.
this is the high one with 215,
Yep, and that's the high one.
and he's the high one for the 213 also,
Right,
but Tim Trubel is the,
yeah, okay,
I don't know.
I got it.
is the high bidder in both instances an Ashford resident?
Yeah, same
Yep.
thing.
Okay, but he isn't actually.
Yeah.
He's the high bidder on both.
Okay. So I thought it said something with some staff.
So that's second. That's the 630.
So here's some
Yeah, I'd like to give preference to the,
easier for you to follow.
Mhm.
2015 is highlighted,
okay,
2013 is not. So
Okay.
this guy did the same thing here.
Mhm.
Hadley was the second bonus, second bidder. And then this guy was the third one.
yeah,
Roger's looking at it.
yeah.
But we did put out there, with the bid, when we advertised the bids, is that, the selectmen, had the discretion to pick whoever they
Or
wanted.
reject.
It was not necessarily
Right.
high bid. And I understand what you said, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, what the bill says, you know, I just enter into a contract or, you know, it's supposed to be,
It's supposed to be black and white.
yeah. 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 Oh, so it's on me. Okay,
No, it just depends on,
okay,
you know, Bill's already made his statement. I didn't know
Yeah.
what you wanted to say.
yeah. I mean, you know, I just,
Whatever you think is right is fine.
yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, I mean,
You're gonna what? I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
I have to agree that, you know,
I-
we have to kind of deal with the letter. You know, we have the discretion, but I mean, I can't think of a, you know, or couldn't justify it reason.
All right, could I have a motion?
I'll move that we award the buses to the high bidder for both of the buses.
Yeah,
Do I have a second?
I'm gonna second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Just wanted to throw it out there to you. Okay, moving on to the next item. There's nothing under new business boards and commission appointments. We have tax refunds.
I have one.
Hey, okay.
To James and Cheryl Danielle citing Connecticut General Statute 12-129 in the amount of $2,268.48.
It's Roger's turn.
Thanks, Bill. Move, we do what we need to do.
I'll
Okay.
second that,
All in favor?
Aye.
citing the statute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, so Roger and then Bill. Approval of cemetery deed. We have a
Did we
cemetery
vote
deed.
on that last one? Aye.
I'm sorry,
Did we vote on the tax refund?
Yes.
we just did it.
Aye.
Okay. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I thought you said citing the statute.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we vote? We voted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Approval of cemetery deed. And then we're gonna go back up to the school roof, the Ashford School roof solar options.
So yes, we have a cemetery deed.
We have a cemetery deed. A single one, correct?
Yes, Woodard Cemetery for one plot.
One plot.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in
Leave it
favor?
My box, Chris, and I'll sign it. I'll come in either later tonight or tomorrow sometime.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, going back up to the school roof solar options. Bill, have you found my email?
Well, I found your email and I sent it to my personal email and I've sent it out and I have a copy sitting in front of me. Is it only one page?
Yes, it's only,
Purchase.
I'm only showing the high level we can climb into any detail you want, but when all is said and done, I think you need to look at the high level and look at the timing aspects of it. Okay, so I can talk you through this.
Go ahead. I've still got that black spot on my, I don't know what you got on your screen, but I'm not seeing anybody,
I don't know why. Is everybody
Including
else
you.
seeing people and seeing the, what's displayed?
Yes, my screen is as it should be.
Okay. Well, apparently my screen's the one we're having a trouble with.
Application,
Go ahead. I'm hearing everybody. I'm just not seeing anything.
no application for the PTA. We
Didn't
don't
the
have to
school never
apply
have
to
this on?
anybody for anything.
Sorry, thank you.
That's all right.
Okay, I have one change to it. All right, so Bill, you're gonna look at the form that was sent to you.
I've got the one-page form in front of me.
Yeah, okay, so where it says, all right, so looking at the pros for purchase, you see purchases on, it's the two left-hand columns, pros and cons,
Yep.
or risks. Let me take you through that first. And also I want to, there's one change to it. Where if you look at PPA with stipulations and you go down the pro column, the second line, application already approved, there's no application required. Okay. So going down through purchase, pro, definitely a higher state reimbursement. Cons, the upfront cost is somewhere between roughly guesstimated at 700 to 800,000 plus any non-reimbursable expense. That I confirmed with Mark Robbins, our solar guy.
That's prior to reimbursements.
Yes, and reimbursements don't come for something like 18 months.
Haven't heard that before.
Oh, yeah. Chris, I think we both heard that. Reimbursement would take probably around 18 months.
Right.
Yeah, we both heard that. Okay. Time delay. The school would need to submit new applications and the legal and state reviews that are required. Another time delay, if you go to town meeting, which you'd have to do for this, if it's not approved in a town meeting, then what? Because we will have lost that time, whatever. Another time delay is the financing involved with this, because we have to go and get that much financing up front. I also don't know if there's any kind of an impact on us if we try to do that financing while we still have a $4 million thing out there and, that hasn't been completed. And we're not going to get reimbursement for a while. We also learned more about ZREC extensions. What we have is guaranteed at $75 a megawatt. And that's jeopardized if our timeline is not met. Okay. And I also got information on this NRES that was mentioned. I got this from our guy, but I also got it from our attorney. The NRES program, I think, is in its second year. It's a 3-year program. And NRES only comes back, what it is like a lottery. And only 30% of them get approved, whoever goes for this. And the reward, if you will, is only $32 a megawatt. We were also told that we can't submit again for 2 to 3 years.
Does that say that on this sheet here about the $32?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's under
Where
the
am I missing?
con risk column. That second column, you go
Legal
down
costs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th box. It says Z, it starts with ZREC.
Okay.
And by the way, this was also reviewed with Mark to confirm everything. Requires a separate maintenance contract. And as the owner, the town is responsible for monitoring upkeep, and we do have staff constraints. And the town would need to contract for removal of the panels after 25 years.
Either way would, again, depending upon how much power we get on the roof, are we still stuck with that $15,000 transformer cost?
You're gonna get that no matter which way you
Okay,
go.
that's what
That's gonna be,
Yep.
it's gonna be part of whatever the project is.
Okay, yep,
No way around that.
okay.
The good news is at least we got a preliminary number for that, and we found
Yeah.
out that it was, that much, which is not a ton of money.
No,
It is money. Okay, going through the PPA. The pro is there's absolutely minimal upfront costs. There's no application required. Town meeting is not required, so doesn't have that delay. Minimal financing required. We should be able to meet the ZREC timing, which the ZREC appears to be the better option. And if we could even get NRES, it still wouldn't be as good. And again, we're already approved for that. What we do need to do is make sure we meet that timing. Excuse me. Maintenance is built into the contract. And based upon the PPA that we would be putting forth to go with the RFP, what we want for maintenance would be written into there. So we can actually have it a bit tailored. The supplier is responsible for monitoring and upkeep. And the supplier removes the panels after the end of the contract. And again, as we all know, there's no state reimbursement. So my concern is we're not going to meet timelines that we would need to meet for ZREC. And then what are we going to do?
What's the deadline for ZREX?
We're going to do, we need an October 1st extension. And by the way, with the PPA, we will recover some of these monies that we already put forth on these extensions and things. So October, and then the next one would be March. And you have to get the roof up within the solar up within the period of time that the ZREC is.
So no matter what we do, we're going to put in for an extension for October 1st anyway, right?
We already knew that.
Yeah.
The question is, what we have to do for March 2?
March is definitely could have Pura.
And with when we go through, if we have to do a second ZREC, another, it would really be the third ZREC extension in March, it has to be reviewed by Pura. Is it Pura or Pura?
Pura.
Say it again.
Pura.
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 I don't know why it always reminds me of Purex.
Catherine, I've been listening to you, but just an FYI, it looks like the 2 documents that you emailed me, you sent me the same one twice.
I didn't email you 2. I only emailed you 1.
Did it have 2 attachments?
No, 1. This one.
Because what I got has 2 attachments and it's just the purchase, pros and cons.
I have no idea.
I've been listening and
I
making
think
notes,
It
so
was a formatting error.
Maybe that's a formatting error when it comes up to you. It's
Yeah.
in Word.
It format,
Okay.
there should be 4 columns.
There should be 4 columns, Bill.
On the one sheet.
yeah, there's only,
Yeah, there's a formatting issue.
it's all right. I
Hang on.
get the gist and I've got the purchase end of it.
Okay.
You got the purchase end of it, but Do you understand the other?
I've been listening to you.
Yeah, I want to do this. I'm gonna.
So right now, as far as Mark Robbins goes, he is redrafting an RFP for our review and a council's review and building
He-
committee's review.
Yes, he had, and that's what I forgot to mention too, is the building committee clearly approves these. He had already drafted one, but it has not been reviewed by town council. And I would expect that what we would want put into it is a tag to the PPA agreement that we want him to draft. Proposed, I'm gonna call it proposed PPA agreement.
But a purchase, he would need no agreement at all, right?
Say that
We
again?
wouldn't be going out to RFP.
A purchase, we would have to go out to RFP. You can't purchase something for 700, 800,000 without going to RFP.
But right now, what is he doing right now? He's redrafting an RFP for a PPA.
Right. He's not doing one for purchase at this point because we haven't made a decision, and I'm not gonna make him go back and do all that work. We did not contract with him to do a purchase one.
When do we expect that he'll have the revised RFP and PPA agreement done up?
As I was saying before, the first thing that has to happen is he's got to update, MHR has to update the agreement we already have with him because the timeline's been blown. Okay, and he has to add to it that he would be producing a draft or a proposed PPA agreement. That needs to be reviewed by town council. He can still, that doesn't prevent him from doing the extension on the ZREC. Okay, that doesn't get in the way of that at all.
Okay.
All right, so it's kind, first steps are first steps. Draft revisions to that agreement to proceed. Make sure that it includes the drafting of a proposed PPA agreement, which he said would take probably about 20 hours. Okay. No other changes as far as I know. And then that agreement to proceed has to be looked at by our town council because our prior one was not. And our town council is looking at it going, I need to make sure you got some good guarantees in there for the town, you know, to protect us. So then he's to finish drafting the RFP. He's already gotten it pretty much the majority of it there. And then work on the proposed PPA agreement, draft that. And both would be reviewed by town council, then by KERMA. Actually, all of these would be reviewed by the school committee as well. Approved by, that would be after approval by, I think by town council, would make more sense. Then by KERMA for their insurance,
Underwriters.
riders or anything else that they feel would need. Bear with me, I'm just trying to move something over so I can look at it a little better. For their insurance review requirements. And then they would be the PPA, the draft RFP and the proposed PPA agreement would be finalized, then posted for bids.
At what point does our board vote on that revised RFP and PPA agreement?
I think the right point for you, for our board to do that is once it's been reviewed by KERMA. Chris, what do you think?
I'm sorry?
Because you left that out, right?
The right time for the selectmen to do our review of the revised the RFP and the proposed PPA, which is going to be attached, would be after KERMA's review.
What we did with the roof.
Yeah.
Was when we sent the proposed RFP for Al to review. We also sent it to KERMA to review.
Just what I was saying.
So we did it at the same time.
And then the selectmen approved it going forward.
Right, it's gonna take Kerma a little while to review it.
Did you hear that, Bill?
I'm hearing it.
Okay. So what you'd really want is you'd want something that's a cleaned up version that's already been checked out by our town council, that's already been checked out in terms of anything that needed to be added in by Kerma. And I would think that at that point in time, I think that bear with me, the school committee would review it and then do their approval, and then we would do our approval or whatever.
Yeah, I think the school committee would make a recommendation
Yep,
to our board
yep. Now, remember, they had
or an
already,
advisory board.
remember, they had already recommended the PPA. But they would come back with whatever, is in here, and especially when it comes to that PPA agreement, because they're gonna have to live with it.
Is it possible, we talked about this a couple of months ago, doing everything we said just now that for the process?
Yeah.
But on this October 7th public hearing, town meeting we're gonna have, could we have a public hearing on what the Board of Selectmen is going to be doing or recommending doing for the solar panels for the roof?
A
At that
public
same-
hearing or a vote?
I don't think you need a vote if we go to PPA.
Very good. I have no issue with
I'd like,
keeping the public
as we
informed.
discussed before,
Yeah,
several months, 2 or 3 months ago, there are members of the public that need to hear our rationale
Yeah.
for going forward with what we think we're going to be going forward with. If nothing more that for transparency's sake.
okay. So does that mean, yes, and for transparency's sake, I definitely agree. Does that mean that we are at a point where we can say, hey, look, we are now doing what I just laid out for us?
I'm comfortable with that. I don't know how Roger feels about it. I'd be interested to hear how he feels about it.
No, I'm
How are you
comfortable
feeling,
with-
Roger?
Good. No, I'm kind of comfortable with that. Yeah, I mean, we gotta get this thing done. Yep,
I don't want to jeopardize the zero.
yep.
So, at this,
If you could put all this stuff in my box, like I said, I may not get there this late at night, but tomorrow I'll try to stop in and pick up all this stuff and go over it even more. But I'm comfortable with proceeding that way. Having Mark touch up the RFP where he needs to, prepare a draft
PPA,
a
agreement.
PPA agreement for Kerma Town Council to look at the same time, for eventual review by the building committee with recommendations to the Board of Selectmen, anticipating that we'll have all this done and be ready to bring it before a public hearing to let the town know what we're planning on doing.
Is that a motion or just a statement?
I'm just trying to go over what the process is. I don't think you need
No,
them.
No,
motion.
I like that. The one thing that was left out was at the very beginning is that MHR, we're having them update their agreement to proceed to bring it current and include in it the drafting of a proposed PPA agreement. So that's one of their steps. And that to be attached to the RFP.
Yeah, I think we made a motion at our last meeting for them to update their contract as long as council was making proper recommendations on it.
Okay, good. All right, we're in a comfortable place?
Okay.
Comfortable place? Thank you for your patience as we try to work through this. It's kind of awkward.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Do we have anything else on the agenda? Items for our next meeting? Oh, wait, we did not act on no, we're good. Agenda items for upcoming Board of Selectmen meetings. Anything?
Not tonight.
Thank you. Okay, anybody get a
I've
motion?
got 8:44.
8:44. Thank you, Bill. Second for that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good
night,
rest of
folks.
your evening.
You folks as well. Thank you.
Now, take this down.
Yeah, I mean, I just,
Wait.
I